Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to buy it, click on the link in the description below to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Vacheron Constantin Complete Calendar Openface Traditionnelle, reference 4020T /000R -B654 41mm pink or rose gold watch. I'm going to talk to you about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, try it on, and give you my thoughts. So let's start. This is Vacheron Constantin, or as Americans might say, Vacheron Constantin, and it is their Traditionnelle, or as Americans would call it, traditionally line of watches. Now, the Vacheron is the world's oldest watchmaker. It's something like 200 plus years old. It's even older than the Patek Philippe and the Audemars Piguet. And it's a premier watch brand. Most people have kind of said that there are three biggest watch or best watch brands, legacy watch brands, as I've heard it called. And it consists of Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin, or Vacheron Constantin. So what can I say about this watch? Well, let's first talk about the case. The case is a 41mm case. It's made in pink gold. They also make this watch in white gold. And this watch was released approximately 2019. And it's one of their lines that it's a traditional line, Traditionnelle line, but they've kind of revamped it to make it look less traditional, actually, and more contemporary and more with the times, which you don't really see any other calendar watches that are skeletonized or open-faced like this one. In fact, I can't think of any from AP, Audemars Piguet, or Patek Philippe that has a calendar that's open-faced. Now, both those other two companies, its competitors, make skeletonized open-face or open-worked watches. AP makes an open-worked watch, so does Patek Philippe, but none of them do so with a calendar and a moon phase, by the way. And it is actually a triple date. So in that sense, it's quite unique. And they've done so on one of their most traditional lines, which is interesting because you would think that on the Traditionnelle line, which is supposed to be, as you would imagine, traditional, they did one of the most contemporary things, which is open face or skeletonize the dial. Okay, well, it's a 41mm dial, and so let's talk about the case a little bit. Now, as you can see from my thumb to my index finger, the 8 o'clock to the 2 o'clock position, the watch is 41 millimeters, which is, I would say, a pretty good size, not a huge size, but not a small size. I would say dress watches range somewhere between 32 and 42 millimeters. This one coming in at 41 is quite a perfect size. I wouldn't say it's for a small wrist, but it's certainly not for a huge wrist. And it being a dress watch and having all these complications, I think 41 suits it just fine. Okay. Now, let's talk. So since we're talking about the case, if I turn the watch on its side, you can see it kind of has a little bit of a stepped case to it. Not much. You can see where the bezel connects with the case. It has a little bit of a step right here. Okay, not much of a step. It has a pretty simple basic lines. It is a Traditionnelle line, so I can't imagine it having, totally, different case. It still has to maintain that Traditionnelle concept. So the lugs and the case are not going to be completely, out in left field. It still maintains that. Now, if you look, interestingly, usually when you do a bezel, a lot of times you might do some kind of decoration to the bezel or some kind of, in this case, they didn't do anything to it. But what they did do was on the back of the watch, since we're still talking about the case, they actually made the back of the case back fluted. And you can actually see the fluting on just from the side profile. Now, of course, you got to look very carefully, but you can see it. This little edges right here, this is kind of like a fluting of the case back. That's just another attention to detail that Vacheron has done that really makes it look quite nice, in my opinion. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at, let's talk about the dial. I guess that would be next. Now the dial is very special. As I said earlier, because it has an open worked dial, Vacheron calls it Openface. Now, the sapphire dial has main plates. That means the thing that everything sits on, and bridges are the thing that connects it. They have an anthracite NAC treatment. Now, exactly what that means, I'm not really sure, but I know that the other two main competitors, Patek Philippe and Audemars, do not use this one. So I know that that's unique to Vacheron. So I would take it to basically mean that they do a very unique treatment to the dial to give it this silver color, because it's also made of I guess it's anthracite treatment. There must be some kind of chemical or something to make it, this beautiful silver ish color. Okay, and as you can see, yeah, it does look quite beautiful. Okay, and what else you can notice about here? They have the date wheels that they have the day Monday through Friday on the left hand side, and that rotates. And when it comes to the date aperture, you can see that it's highlighted in black against a white background, so you can see it quite easily. And then they have the month on the right hand side, December through January, and it cycles again. Looks very symmetrical. I like that. A lot of times they don't look symmetrical. But this watch does look symmetrical. You have those two date apertures, and then very cool is it's an interesting way they put the day, or they put the date 1 through 31 here with this long hand, which goes around 30. Takes 31 days to go around. So you do have to reset this watch. Normally on an annual calendar that does not have the day Monday through Friday, you only have to reset it one time a year in February. But because this watch has a Monday through Friday as well as the month, as well as the 1 through 31, you actually have to reset it 5 times a year. So, but I mean, I don't think that's that big of a deal. It tells you a lot of information. A lot of times we don't remember, what exactly the date is unless you look at your cell phone, but sometimes we can lose track of that. But it's also another cool way to just, have a bunch of complicated functions that actually mean something, that do something. Okay. Now let me bring your attention also to this moon phase here. Now you'll kind of see, it's very interesting. Usually I haven't seen this in a lot of other watches. You see the moon that's going through the moon phase, and they actually do a good job of making the moon look like the actual moon, and instead of just like Patek Philippe just draws a circle and it looks like a little kid could draw it. I can't say I really like it. AP does a great job of it, and Vacheron does a great job of it. They actually make the moon look like the moon, and you should, right? I mean, they call it a moon phase, right? Or it has a moon phase in it. It should look like the moon, right? It shouldn't just be a circle with a dot in it, right? I mean, that doesn't look very, good. So, but what else you can notice about this is they put this kind of like shield over it. So the moon is at the top, but when it's at the when it's, you can see the bottom when it's you sort of see this opaque covering. So it's not completely covered. You can see where the moon is. It's about to come up, and when it's about to go away. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Okay. And so, okay, so that is the dial. And let's see what else we should talk about here. Okay, let's talk about the strap. Well, the strap is pretty basic. I mean, it's a gray strap. Now, as I said at the beginning, this watch is rose gold, pink gold. They also make it on a white gold. But in both situations, they use this gray strap, and I think that is to match the dial. I think it's a very nice touch. I don't like it when a brand just throws a basic black strap on it. Patek Philippe, they do that, which I don't think it looks that great. But it's nicer when they integrate the bracelet or the strap into the watch, and in this case they did. That's a very nice touch by them, and it looks very good. Now it's a basic leather strap. You can change it out however you like. I do like that the size though is 21 millimeters, which makes sense for the size. Usually when you have a 40 millimeter watch, you have a 20 millimeter lug width, and a 41 millimeter has a 21 millimeter lug width, which kind of makes sense. You don't want the strap to look too skinny for the watch head. And it has this normal pin buckle here, nothing out of the norm, but it is a Traditionnelle watch, so I mean it makes sense that they would do that. Okay, now let's move on to the movement here. It's a caliber 2460 QCL-2. I think it was upgraded from something else. I'm not exactly sure. You probably have to look that part up, but this is the latest and greatest movement. I know it has this Geneva seal here, which, as I read, was a very difficult thing for them to get. They have to meet a bunch of requirements, which they did, and hence now they got this little Geneva seal on it, which I'm guessing means something really important, and it probably does. Okay. So anyways, the movement, what can I say? It's very beautiful. If you look at the detailing of it, I actually have, and I looked at it with a loop. If you look at the rotor, I mean, the rotor, I think it looks fantastic. I love how they cut it out, and if you look, it's kind of hard to see from just this video, but if you actually use a loop and look at it, the edges of this cross, the Maltese cross here, it all has a beveled edge to it. It's high polished, and then it has a satin finish. I mean, it's done to perfection. I mean, the amount of work and time, effort to make this little tiny cross and this rotor, it probably took a really long time. And, that's what you're paying for. When you buy an expensive watch like this, you expect it to be finished and done to perfection, no flaws whatsoever. And this one definitely meets that requirement. I've seen a lot of watches, and this is definitely up there in terms of quality, craftsmanship, and design also. Very cool design. Okay, and I love that they kept the case back open so that you can actually see it. And of course, they had this cutout rotor so that you can actually see the movement. Sometimes brands such as Patek Philippe will make a rotor that's not cut out, and you know what? The problem with that is you can't admire the movement without having to shake it around. And I like that they did it in this case. I think it takes actually more work. That's why Patek Philippe doesn't do it. That's just my guess, though. But Vacheron did it. AP does it. Maybe Patek Philippe will follow suit. Who knows? Okay. Okay. Anyways, that is the case back. So let's go ahead and try this on and give you my thoughts. As I said at the very beginning, this is one of the top watchmakers in the world: Vacheron, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet. These are the three best, and this is their dress line. And of their dress line, well, Vacheron makes a whole bunch of different, variations. I have to say this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite one. I love that it's in rose gold. I love that it has an open face. I love the size of it, and the price point is not bad either. Okay, now you always have to talk about price when you're talking about these expensive watches. Now, as of 23, it retails for $53,000, but we're selling it at jazztime.com for a lot less than that, in the 40s. And so it's one of the few watches. I'm not saying that there are no watches, but a lot of the watches, like from Patek Philippe and these top watchmakers, are selling at a premium or very, very close to retail. We're selling it at jazztime.com in the 40s, and this watch retails in the 50s. So, and you can get it. And by the way, if you want to buy this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com. So I think it's a value proposition wise, it's a very good option. And it's a very unique watch. It's not a watch that you're going to see very often, looks very beautiful. So, if this were made by, for example, Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet, this watch would easily be in the hundreds of thousands. Nobody else makes. Anytime there's an open face, it's very expensive. Now, I know you might be thinking, for those who know Patek Philippe, they make this skinny little skeleton watch. Honestly, that watch looks terrible, and that one trades like a little bit below retail, and I can see, not a little bit below, a lot below retail, and I can see why. So I wouldn't even compare that one. But this one, it looks manly, it looks good, it looks dressy, and so I have to give it 2 thumbs up, and definitely for the price point, it's definitely a winner in my opinion. So if you want to buy it, click on the link in the description below and visit jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.